Are you impressed?
I'm very impressed, but it's a fusion of old knowledge and new technology. Hello and welcome to Budget Model Railways, and today we're talking about something a little bit different. As you know, we've been quite busy with things like 3D printers, but what we haven't had a look at is laser cutters, and Ortur very kindly have supplied us an Ortur Laser Master 3 to review. Now say it's not something we'd thought about, it's not something we knew a lot about, so actually quite a good thing for us to review because we're as new as anybody else to it. So straight out of the box, this is a really interesting bit of kit. It's very well produced, it's very easy to put together. Doug whipped it together in about 10 minutes. It comes with all the tools and everything you need, so you don't need a lot of specialist stuff to do. And as you can see from here, we've just got it on a dining room table, so it's not like you need a big workshop or anything. It's about 2 foot square, which is 600 millimeters in modern money. So as I say, for newcomers, really easy to put together. A couple of features we like. So there's a nice key on switch. The emergency stop is good, good safety feature. So it's a 10 watt laser cutter and it engraves all sorts of materials, which I'll come to in a minute. We quite like the kind of safety features of it. So there's a protective shield around the laser. Not that you can actually see the laser anyway, you just get a bit of reflection. And in any case, it comes with safety goggles, which enables you obviously to just shield your eyes. Not that we've really found a need for it, but they're there. I would say the only thing we would say, if you are burning things like cardboard and timber with the laser, it does smell a bit. You do get a bit of a burning smell. So it's probably best to use it somewhere well ventilated. Doug got really carried away with this. So once we realised its capabilities, because it's really accurate, it does incredibly fine work. So where we were doing, actually it's only serial packet card, but we're making buildings and things. If you have a look at the sharpness of that, the quality of that, same we were trying, they supplied all sorts of materials. There's a wonderful little plastic card with a silver background, and you can see the really fine detail work on the Army Cadet crest there. Now, we initially looked at this for doing buildings because obviously model railways, we were thinking what applications are there for model railways. And so I had a go at buildings. Now, it's a bit like 3D printing. You do need to be prepared to think about layers here. So by doing it in 3 pieces, you get a lot of relief detail. And we've had a go at doing a timber. Doug has had a go at doing brickwork, which came out really well. So it's obviously going to be excellent for doing model railway buildings. And I'm guessing looking at it, it might even be possible to do things like coaches and wagons, because we were using very thin cardboard, and I think you could recreate some really good wagon and coach sides with this. So I would say it's got quite a lot of railway applications. Having said that, Doug in his enthusiasm has been trying to engrave and cut just about every material we can find. So we've been doing plywood, plastics, metal, steel, stone, ceramics, earthenware, cardboard. We had it cutting as much as 10 millimetre of wood. So if you had other interests, you're obviously going to be able to use it a bit like a coping saw and do very intricate lettering and so on. You can use it to engrave. So we've been engraving onto metal. Doug's put engravement on one of his knife blades. We've been doing it on leather. So whatever you want to do with this, I would suggest it will probably do it. We've had great fun playing with it. Lots of applications. The interesting thing is it won't do white. So if you've got something like white card, strangely enough, it won't do it. It reflects it. But anything else, it works fine. We even tried doing mountain board that had a black finish on it. But unfortunately, as soon as it burns through the black finish, it stops. Although you did get a very neat engraving. So to sum up for us, and we'll talk a little bit and show you in a minute some of the projects we've done. But as an introduction, it's a really good bit of kit. It's very simple to put together, very safe to use. Engraves and works on just about any material you'd like to think of. So we've been really enthusiastic and pleased with it. So let's have a look at in a little bit of detail at one or two of these projects. So this is the building we were experimenting with just as a test piece, but you can see the really fine window frames. You can see the windows in the door, which is something very tricky to try and do. And bear in mind, this is a 00, 4mm to a foot. It would be possible to scale this down and do 2mm to a foot in N or bigger. Just so happens that we happen to do this as 00 or HO for those of you in the rest of the world. But if you have a look at the door there, you can see the door panels. We've got the barge boards and the trims around the door. You can see the timber effect on the walls and the tile effect on the roof. And of course, the valance on the front, the little triangled pointed bits that are so typical of a railway, very, very fiddly to do by hand and takes a matter of seconds using a laser cutter. So I would say for buildings, there's a lot of potential. Even if you only left the walls plain and used brick paper and so on, being able to do the doors and windows is still a really big advantage. So I'm quite excited about what we can do for buildings with this. So let's have a look at a couple more materials here. So the wooden handle, obviously really nice and sharp. I think what I find interesting is I remember all the old-fashioned kind of metal engraving things that on wood, which were always fuzzy and horrid. And this is obviously completely different. This is very sharp and clear lettering. And that's burnt into a varnished wood handle. And then at the other end, that's pretty hard steel or some similar metal. That's an axe head with the engraving really clear in there. Very useful to have that if you wanted to mark things. But again, a good demonstration of the capability of this laser cutter. It's not just for things like timber and cardboard, which you know are fairly obvious that they're going to do. It's been quite interesting to find things like timber, steel, ceramics that this will actually etch into. So to sum up, a really interesting, useful piece of kit. Not had anything to do with laser cutters, really impressed with this one. This seems to be a really good beginner's model, so easy to use, so easy to set up. Loads of applications in general, and I think, as we've shown, quite a few specific model railway applications as well. Ortur have offered a discount for our subscribers, link in the description and also on the screen. So any of our subscribers, should you wish to buy one of these direct from them, you will get a discount, which is always handy. Thanks always as watching, and a big thank you to Ortur for the laser cutter to review.